Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude Beyond Mystic, and welcome to today's War Correspondent Special Report. The topics for discussion are deepfakes, body doubles, masks, and movie set realities. With me, of course, to dive into all of that juicy matter, of course, is the author of the Rebel Gene, and also you can find her work here at projectcamelotportal.com. KERRY, Cassidy, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Nice to see you guys.
Nice to have you on. I'm excited for today's conversation. And folks, please also join me in welcoming the producer of the amazing documentary JFKX. And you can find his work also at jweidner.com. Mr. Jay Weidner. Jay, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. It looks like you and I are color coded today. What happened,
I
Jay?
know. One more. Well, we us guys have to look the same,
It could be that we're psychically connected through our Shanghai pendants.
That's it.
This is a Beyond Mystic experiment going on, guys. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us here today on this live interactive show. We're triple casting right now on Twitter, YouTube, and also, of course, on Rumble. So we'll be spending a little bit of time with you guys here on YouTube, but 5 to 10 minutes in here, we're probably going to have to switch over the conversation to Rumble and Twitter because we're probably going to be talking about some stuff that don't really work well with some of the algorithms here. And I'll get to that part of the introduction a little bit later in the show. So first, as the subject title discusses, guys, we're going to be looking at some fake realities, the veil thinning, so to speak, and the exposure or the apocalypse of everything in our realm. And so first, I want to ask each and every one of you, I'll start with KERRY, you're on the board now. Why is it that now, suddenly, even though researchers and people like you have been at it for a long time trying to bring reality to our world, why is it now suddenly that we're having an energy and a momentum behind this big, huge awakening and apocalypse? Does it have something to do with the rebel gene? Does it have something to do with astrology? KERRY, why is now such a critical time in our world?
Well, I think that the revealing that the time we're in is, what they call the apocalypse is really the awakening. And so, in essence, there are energies coming into the earth from out in the cosmos. I think specifically the Sagittarian galaxy, which we are merging with, and energies from the galactic center that are affecting people. And the move of awakening is towards truth. So anything to do with exposing the truth in any area is coming to the fore. And that's why the liars are going to basically find themselves stranded in the middle of a desert because everyone is gravitating and resonating with truth. And when what people realize or begin to realize is that resonation, the heart and the mind resonates, and there is a actual physical effect of truth on the body as well as the mind and the psyche and the rest. So we can feel the vibrations of truth. We can feel when people are lying to us. And it's an amazing thing when you tap into it. The more you meditate, the more you tap into that sort of thing. But I would encourage people to, to sit, listen to the silence, get a take on whatever you get, however you resonate with truth, start to hone into that more and more. And then you'll make less mistakes. You'll be less of a fool in your life. You'll actually have some better things happen to you because the closer we are to truth, the closer we resonate with source, if you will. And once you get to that connection, you're really on the road, and everything good can come to you. And what can I say?
That's a very good point. Thank you, KERRY, for that. Let me ask you to redirect on that too. We just saw last week, or maybe a week before, Google putting out a notice that they were changing their algorithms with respect to a sensitive event around the corner. So giving them more capabilities to curate our reality through the search engines and YouTube and all that. Do you feel that they also see that this is coming out, and that's why we're seeing such that heavy hand of censorship moving forward? And do you think too, can the cat be put back into the bag, or are they goners at this point? What's your thoughts?
Well, the cat can't be put back into the bag, as you call it. You can't unlearn something you've learned. So even on a soul level, that's true. So, and we are actually much larger than like simply the physical body and the presence here on Earth. Obviously, we're actually multidimensional. We exist on multiple planes of existence simultaneously. We tap into those planes in a daily basis, and that includes the interdimensional. We are time travelers by nature. That's in essence what we do. We're here. In fact, scientists have even seen that we actually resonate. We flicker in and out of this reality. You might have heard that before, but it's true. It's we, as we think of ourselves in this body, soul mind complex, are not always here. We are actually flickering in and out. And I have actually, the more in tune you are, the more you start to tap into these other realities simultaneously with this one. And this is what's happening. They call it, the veil is thinning, but it's actually a physiological effect, as well as changing our material reality. And as we have moved more and more, we've gone from 3D into 4D is another way of explaining it, and moving into 5D. And we simultaneously can basically be aware of those different dimensions. I myself can bilocate. I'm aware. Sometimes I bilocated to Egypt, for example, before I ever traveled there. And in dreams, of course, we do this very easily. But even when I'm waking, I can actually bilocate, and remote viewers know about this phenomena. So it's not a surprise that all of this is coming to the fore, that people are beginning to tap into these other realities. And the fact is, it's not new. We always have. It's just that consciousness, being aware of something, doubles it, triples it, even whatever you want to say. So we are now becoming awake. I call it awake and aware. And basically, we're tapping into all kinds of realities, and we're tapping into the fullness of who we really are, not simply a material sort of body in this dimension.
Right. Or a battery to the matrix of our own enslavement. Yeah, very good, Kerry. Thank you for that.
But we're tapping into our higher selves, if you will. So that is also happening for a lot of people. Now, some people prefer to stay blinded, and that's actually a choice, believe it or not. That's not just some default place that we enter in. We, as if you understand that we are sort of made and connected by source, then it's not like you're sometimes made and connected by source. You're always made and connected by source.
Right.
And it's simply your awareness of that and tapping into that. And it's kind of a matter of flow. You tap into the flow, and then you go into the river, if you will, of flow. And the more you become aware, the more you're part of it.
Very good. Thank you for that introduction. Kerry, Jay, let me bring you up on the screen also and ask you the same question. Why now? I spoke about astrological alignments at the beginning of the show. Kerry's talking about also here, if you look at the triune human, explaining here by Thinking in Destinies, Percival's book, that most of us is outside of our corporeal being, and also the fact that we are moving into these new energies from space. We've talked about this on the show before, the yugas of time. Explain in your point of view, Jay, why things are accelerating right now and where we're living this huge awakening and apocalypse, so to speak, or unveiling of these big truths right now for humanity.
Well, my first two books are about the Cross of Henday in France, about how it's telling us about how we're moving out of one cycle and into another. And it's all based on the center of the galaxy. And so when we are orbiting the center of the galaxy, we're out near the edge of the galactic plane. We oscillate up and down. And sometimes we'll go right to the edge where all the sludge and the stars and everything are. And then sometimes we go up and we go down, we go up and we go down. It takes 12,000 years to do one of these cycles. And right now we're coming out of the Kali Yuga, and we're rising up above, and the galactic energies are now not longer blocked by the matter that sits between us and galactic center. So now we are receiving energy, and that's why the sun has turned white instead of being yellow. It's going to get even more different. It's going to change colors again as we go forward, and we're going to start seeing the denizens of the plasma universe. So we're surrounded by all these invisible entities, literally trillions of them all around us that we can't see. And the reason we can't see them is because we were in the Kali Yuga, and now if you watch YouTube or whatever, you can see people are seeing more and more UFOs, they're seeing more entities, so people are seeing things that they used to not see, and it's kind of freaking everybody out. And that's going to get more and more. I mean, as we move further out of the Kali Yuga, because we're suffering in the hangover of the Kali Yuga. The Kali Yuga is gone, but we still got the hangover. And we're afraid of everything, and we're fear of flight syndrome and the whole thing. And that's all going to dissipate as we go on. But what's also going on is we're compounding facts. So because of this internet thing, we can compound facts in real time. Whereas before it was, I'm old enough that I lived long before the internet, and when I had to do research, I had to go to the Seattle Public Library and spend the whole day there just to find out 8 or 9 different things, right? And now I can do that in 10 minutes on the internet. And so things are moving so fast, and we're compounding fact after fact, that now we're kind of all sitting at the apex of this pyramid, looking back at everything. And we can now see, hey, wait a minute here. Things are not what we think. And furthermore, every day in the news, there's confirmation that what we suspected was going on is actually going on. For instance, Kerry Lake from Arizona saying that the Republican Party tried to bribe her not to run. A giant television personality who's very good looking, incredibly articulate, yet they're willing to bribe her not to run. All right. That tells you everything. It tells you everything. And then at the very end of the conversation, the guy says, if they ever find out we have this conversation, they're going to kill me. He said it. All right. This is out in the news. You can go listen to the audio. So, this is all building up, and people are now talking, and we don't care anymore. When you've been under such duress as we've been since 2020, at a certain point, you snap, and everybody just says, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with the childishness. I'm done with all these pre-adolescents running around telling me BS. And I'm just going to start telling everybody what I see. And I think that's going on everywhere right now.
Right. I'm with you on that. And just here in Canada, it's very personal to me also, because just 2 days ago, the federal court just ruled that the invocation of the Emergencies Act, of course, violated charter rights. We've been fighting for this for 2 years. We were called misogynists, the fringe minority, the tinfoil hatters, but here we are now with an actual court ruling. So it's bittersweet on one hand, but at the same time, it's an indication that the momentum is on the side of truth, as Kerry was saying. So, Jay, for your redirect, instead of asking you if we can put the cat back in the bag, so to speak, I want to ask you about where perhaps the world controllers go from here. If in fact this momentum is so fast and so strong, that could suggest that they're akin to a wounded animal or a cornered wounded animal right now, and that they might do some crazy stuff here to try to extricate themselves from perhaps the justice that comes out of everything they've done in the past. What's your gut take on that? Where are we going moving forward with our controllers?
Well, I think you can see that there's been a change in opinion and direction the last 2 or 3 weeks. All of a sudden, the people on the top are beginning to talk very oddly about like they're losing, and they know it, and they are, and we know it, and so yeah, they're going to do something crazy. World War III is all I can think of, how they're going to try to get out of it. But again, people have just had it. There's many instances in history where somebody is being given an order, which if that order was carried out would result in a huge devastating thing. And that person refused to carry out the order. They didn't say, I'm not going to do that. They just didn't do it. All right. They didn't make a big show out of it. They didn't do it, and saved a lot of people's lives. And I think that's what's going on here. I've heard stories from Ukraine where the colonels and the guys in the military go, no, I'm not doing that. Sorry. No, not doing it. And so that's making the whole system fall apart. And, so the whole thing is reaching this kind of crescendo. They know they can't do their super theater anymore because it doesn't work. Mm-hmm. That's what we learned from the that talk show host who got sued for saying that an event in the eastern United States was faked, and he got sued for millions and millions of dollars. And
almost $1 billion. Yes.
Yeah, $1 billion. And now everybody's backed off, but we're not backing off.
Right.
I understand that, that was very clever. You use children. Well, we can't really talk about it. But there are so many events that are so fake that if we start back engineering these things, and that's what's going to happen here, that's where we're all going to be going next. We're going to uncover the fact that almost everything that they've been showing us is fake.
Right.
And it's weaponized theater. That's what it is. And they use the movie business and TV, and they hire writers and actors and everything.
All right. Crisis actors. Well, okay, so I think that's good for the YouTube channel. But just before we finish there, I wanted to add 2 points there to the cornered animal argument. We just saw, of course, in the last day or so here that we're going to a conflict in Texas. The National Guard could be pitted against the federal government here very soon, sparking off maybe an American Revolution 2.0, as some people are suggesting. That's just here, homegrown in North America. But on the international stage, yes, Israel is suggesting now that Iran might be a legitimate target. So again, talks about here creating the World War III scenario in order to maybe change the tables on all of this awakening and enlightenment. This is what I meant about the Texas border crisis. We're going to be doing a very special show on that later tonight, guys. If you want to join us for the Beyond the News Texas, the American Revolution 2.0 edition, that's going to be at 8 o'clock Eastern tonight on Rumble. Okay, guys, let me bring the link. If you're watching still on YouTube now, please come and join us over on the Rumble or on the Twitter feed for the No Holds Barred conversation. So let me just disconnect now from the